My name is Officer James Sabota, and it's a pleasure to serve as your Citywide PIP coordinator. Welcome tonight, and also welcome the hundreds of people that have signed on to the live stream. We have some house rules for tonight, so it's very important that you listen. If you have a cell phone, you must turn it off. And if you need to discuss something with somebody, please step out to the hallways. We have a lot of information, a lot of great guest speakers tonight that will be giving you great information. So it's very important. And also, if you have a divisional issue, something in your neighborhood, and would like to discuss it with any one of us, do it after the meeting. We all will be here. The commanders, all the PIP officers will be here. We will be here. So make sure if you have a divisional issue to get with that leader in the hallways or out here after the meeting, because we have a lot to cover. A couple of different announcements. We have a gun safe distribution for today. It's going to be after the meeting because a lot of the information that you're going to be receiving will be pertaining to those gun safes. So we have 250 to give away, and we shouldn't not give away all 250, but if we do, don't worry. At your divisional PIP meetings, we will be bringing those out to your meeting. So if you don't get one today, which I'm sure you will, but what we're going to do is after the meeting, we're going to go through this door here and just file a single file line to get your gun safe. And it will work out great. Joan Bouchard, I'd like to introduce Joan Bouchard, our Citywide chairperson. You got the floor.
Thank you. Oh, we have a lot of people in this room today. That's good to see. Welcome to the Chief Citywide PIP team. And we're thrilled to have all of you here representing your communities. The membership and the participation are an asset to the communities because whatever happens here, you take back to the people that you live with every day. And our basic goal is to reduce crime. This Citywide PIP meeting is live streamed for those who cannot attend. Some of the nation's police departments have been in the focus of the news recently. And we proudly have in place this program called Positive Interaction Program. That's to promote the positive relationship with every member of the community family. It is you and your community who can take credit for the PIP's success. So pat yourself on the back. You did a good job. At these Citywide PIP meetings, the goal is to provide the attending members proactive information in which you can benefit and share with everybody that is in your community. We will have for the invocation, Chaplain Sergeant Johnson. Please. I'm just going to leave.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, my mic. The mic's not on? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this moment to gather together. We ask that something be done or said tonight to bring this community even closer. We pray for a peace that surpasses all understanding. And we pray that this meeting be held decently and in order. We thank you for all that you have done, and we thank you for the things that you will do, and we thank you for the things that you're doing right now. It is in your precious name we say thank you, and we give thanks. Amen. Amen.
Next is PIP Officer James Sabota, and he has a really long list that he has to announce. I'm only kidding.
Thank you, Judge Judy. That's a joke, and she's going to get mad at me. Joan Wishart, for years and years, I nicknamed her Judge Judy. You know, like the Judge Judy on the courtroom? She's like, okay. Anyway, just a couple quick announcements. We have some great resource tables off to the side here. For the questions that may not be answered, I know we're going to have a lot of answers to the district attorney's office. We have a table there that will be more than happy to answer some of those questions that are in your area. We also have Precinct 3 Commissioner's Office that will have some information, some giveaways, and a guide to Harris County Precinct 3. Thank you. And also, I'd like to bring up Ricky Harris, who is a deaf PIP member, who is teaming up with the Mayor's Office of Public Safety and Homeland Security, and would like to make a few announcements in ASL interpreted for the upcoming CERT class. Ricky, would you like to step up?
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Captain Svoboda, for helping me. I don't know, I raised you.
I just got a promotion.
Promotion, right. We're Office of the Homeland Security as we're working with them, and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, we're really excited to take a workshop for the CERT program, the Community Emergency Response Teams. And this workshop is an 8-week workshop. It's the community, neighbor to neighbor. If something happens in your area, an emergency comes up, the community can respond. All the people who are emergency, they'll help each other. And for this emergency, police, firemen, until they arrive. This will be the first group for us to be there before the emergency response people arrive. And we're going to give training on what to do, first aid, recognize different chemicals that might have spilled. These are different emergencies that we can give to the response teams so they can be prepared when they come. David and I will be information for you to sign up if you're interested. Everyone is welcome. It's an 8-week workshop, and actually it'll start somewhere in October, and it'll last for 8 weeks. It'll be on Saturdays. If you're interested, contact me, David. I have my card, and it's already, it has the information. It'll have the contact information on it. If you're interested, let me know, and I can sign you up. And we look forward to you coming. And it's open to everyone, deaf, hard of hearing. We'd love to have you there. Thank you so much. We'd love to have you join.
And I'll just teach you a quick sign in ASL. When we clap, we normally do this. This is clapping in ASL. So, okay, now you know some sign language. Just real quick, briefly, we have Kathy Okabe from the Texas Resource Rehab. Kathy, can you stand up? She's here, I'll say. Yeah, she does not need to come up. She is a great resource. Anybody that needs help with hearing aids and/or is looking for employment, please get with Kathy with interpreter after the meeting. Thank you. Also, real quick, Michael Arnett, Protective Advisor for the Southeast Texas U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and Chuck Mistrick. They have a table there on the side. They'll be providing cybersecurity information that you all need. So there, raise your hands, Michael and Chuck. Thank you very much. And we also have our HPD Special Victims table there. Raise your hands, guys. Okay, they're there for anybody that needs to approach them and ask them for their assistance. They have it. We also have County Precinct 3 Commissioner's Office that has some great information. You want to raise your hands there? And lastly, we'd like to thank the following groups that provided tonight's food and refreshments. Connie Spence, staff attorney from Alto County, raise your hand. Thank you. And lastly, Central Division, East Side Division, Downtown Division, and Kingwood Divisions. Thank you so much for the food and beverages for tonight. John?
Next, we have Citywide Crime Analysis Report. Division Manager, Jim Mallard. That's an inside joke, and I'm not going to do it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Mallard. I'm the Division Manager for the Crime Analysis and Research Unit. I'm going to be doing just a quick overview. I know we have a long program tonight. Citywide crime, we're looking pretty good year to date. Down about 9% in violent crime and about 2% nonviolent. Overall, about 3% down. We've seen some progressive reductions in these numbers. Now, this is year to date, which means it's comparing the first January through May of 2022 to 2023. This stops at the end of May because we haven't validated the numbers yet from June. We haven't submitted them and got them approved. That usually happens about next week. But I wanted to put this up here because this is publicly available on our transparency website, and I wanted to point that out here as well. Go to our website, houstontx.gov/police. We have crime statistics available, and we also have information on our transparency page, including this. We provide this to council every month, Crime by Council District Report. So every month you can go on there. We usually publish it around the 18th, and you can get this information at any time. So that's all I have, and I'll turn it over. Joan?
Thank you. I behaved. Okay. Executive Chief Matt Slinkard.
Thank you, Jim.
The floor is yours.
I appreciate it. Thank you
Okay.
very much. We're Jonah Hand. She always does such a great job for us. Well, good evening, everybody. Great to see you. Great to have a packed house tonight. I want to clarify one of the housekeeping rules that Officer Sabota gave. He does such a great job. Officer Sabota, being of a different generation, said that you must turn your cell phone off. Let me clarify that. Please turn it on silent or vibrate. If we ask you to turn it off, there might be too much anxiety in the room, right? If it goes completely off. But we appreciate that very much. We don't want to disturb our neighbors. We want to make the most of our time together. Before I give some basic comments on behalf of Chief Fenner, let me recognize some special guests that we have this evening. And please hold your applause for these special guests until I'm finished. But I want to recognize District Attorney Kim Ogg. I want to recognize Precinct 3 Commissioner Tom Ramsey. I want to recognize our former Chief of Police, City Council member, and now Special Prosecutor and Liaison to Law Enforcement at the DA's Office, Chief CO Brad Bradford. Thank you, Chief. And also our partner in public safety, who is an amazing colleague, Fire Chief Sam Pena. Please welcome all of our special guests. Thank you so much for being here. You know, this is great. I think tonight is a great example of collaboration and partnership. We have some city updates. We have city officials from police and fire talking about public safety. We have many exhibits here for you to talk to individuals and get some valuable information. And we also have county partners here. And that's what it's about in Houston, Harris County, Texas. We cannot do it alone. And these are fantastic regional partners. Now, I have promised that we're going to stay on track tonight because we really have an hour, and we try to keep that to an hour to be respectful of everybody's time and also to take advantage of the tables we have tonight, but also the gun safe distribution in the hallway. Now, what I really don't need is when we finish the meeting, I don't need a call for service for a disturbance at the Houston Police Officers Union, right, for an unruly crowd that is disruptive in the hallway. Let's try to do that in an orderly fashion so that we can do the gun safe distribution. And I would really appreciate that if we respect our neighbors once the meeting concludes and we do that. And if somebody happens to be in a little bit more of a hurry and needs to get home before you, maybe you let them go before you, and we would appreciate that. So on behalf of Chief Fenner, who could not be here tonight, he sends his regrets. He's on some much needed time off. However, I've talked to him, I think, 4 times today. And so I think, Chief Bradford, you can attest, I'm not sure that the police chief is ever off, right? Okay, so, but he is on some much needed time off, and we wish him well and some rest and relaxation if he can find it. I want to give a couple of updates, and I'm going to say this up front. Usually take a few questions when I'm up here. Tonight, I'm going to stay until we're finished with the entire meeting. I will be here. I will make myself available to you for any questions that you have of me. I have with me a couple of members of our executive staff as well as your commanders who you know well, but I also have Executive Assistant Chief Larry Satterwhite. Larry, please raise your hand. Overall patrol operations, I have Assistant Chief Patty Cantu here. Patty, wave back there. Okay, so we have some members of our executive staff. We have all of our commanders here, many members of our command staff. We will make ourselves available to you for any specific questions that you have of the police department after the meeting. But I'm going to try to keep the agenda moving because I know that we have several speakers behind me. I also want to mention, I understand it's July and it's not even that far into July and it's really not supposed to be this hot, right? That like we've experienced in June. But actually, we can make jest and make light a little bit, but it is actually a very important public safety issue. And I know that my partner, Fire Chief Sam Pena, can definitely attest to that. But watch out for your neighbors, please, right? We have cooling centers that are often set up, and we have places that individuals can go if they need to cool off. June was very, very difficult for everybody in the city. It was so hot. But it's also a reminder that hurricane season is upon us. And luckily, we've been very fortunate right now. The tropics have been rather quiet for us. Everybody knock on some wood as soon as you can find it. But the tropics have been very quiet for us. However, I remind you, the fuel for a hurricane is warm Gulf waters, right? And with a June and July that are record-setting heat, I think we have some warm Gulf waters out there. So let's just all be aware. Let's be prepared. Have those conversations that you have with your family and with your neighbors when we get at the beginning of hurricane season. Have those conversations now. Have your communications ready. Have your plans ready. Maybe have some provisions on board at home that you need to. And remember to check on your neighbors, right? Especially in this heat and during hurricane season. I also want to mention a little bit, give a little bit more detail on the crime numbers that you saw that Division Manager Jim Mallard put up. And you saw on there that homicides was trending down 19% right now year to date. I want to add some clarity to that a little bit because actually it's 22% down as of this morning. We track that on a daily basis as it relates to the homicide numbers. It's a little bit more of a reduction than what you saw up here this evening, but his numbers are about a month behind because they need to go through staff review and they have to be verified, etc. So still seeing almost double digits in violent crime reduction throughout the city. And as we recently told the mayor and city council in an update to our elected officials, violent crime as a whole is down in every single council district in the city. We still have some work to do in some property crime areas, and we understand full well that oftentimes it sometimes can be a small percentage of our large, expansive population that is victims of violent crimes, but often your neighbors might be victims of property crimes or you yourself, and those are very concerning to you, and we understand that, and they're concerning to us as well. And so we still have some strides to make as it relates to property crimes, anything that's nonviolent, and I'll tell you that one of the challenges has been auto theft. And we're still working on that, still combating that. I will tell you that also what we refer to as a jugging crime, which can be a violent crime, where somebody might be following you because you're shopping or you're at a bank and you're withdrawing money and then maybe you're followed and possibly become the victim of a crime. And we typically have referred to those as jugging crimes. We have seen that go up recently as the catalytic converter thefts have gone down. So as you know, some laws have been strengthened and our partners in law enforcement and criminal justice have helped us in the law enforcement community deal with the catalytic converter theft problem that we've talked about many, many times. And those numbers have gotten a lot better. And in fact, the market for the special metals and precious metals that are involved in those parts has changed and is not as valuable and it's not as lucrative. And so those crimes are going down. We're happy to see that. We still have some catalytic theft issues. One was on the news recently, but it's going down substantially, but other thefts are going up. BMVs of motor vehicles, other things are back on the rise as it relates to vehicle-related issues. So just be mindful. Also, we want to remind you not to leave items in your vehicle. Especially don't leave items in plain view. Don't leave your purses, laptops, belongings, bags, things like this in your vehicle when you're parked, going about your business throughout the city. It's just an invitation, obviously, for that car to possibly be broken into and you become the victim of a crime. And so do everything you can to help us help you, and we would appreciate that. Speaking of vehicles and car break-ins, it really leads me to the point that I'd like to end with this evening on my kind of state of HPD comments, and that is with those car break-ins that we have throughout our city, we have said this many times, we have typically been averaging somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 stolen firearms from vehicles annually. Now those are firearms, right, that then potentially become crime guns, and guns used in the commission of crime, oftentimes violent crime. That is something we could have a measured impact on as a community. And so we have to continually work together to make sure that we are trying to eliminate that 3,000 to 4,000 guns that potentially fall into the wrong hands and become crime guns. That leads to one of the initiatives that so many of our public safety partners have been amazing on, and the district attorney's office is one of those, about the safes and the safes that we will be distributing tonight. It's an effort, right? It's an effort in responsibility. It's an effort to try to secure that firearm even in a vehicle if you don't have the ability to not leave it in the car, right? Which would be preferable. And so it's an effort for us to do something that will reduce the number of guns that find their way onto the street and possibly used in the commission of violent crimes. And so please, also I do not have to remind you that we have seen too many stories, all of us, of firearms not secured properly in the home. And those firearms not secured properly in the home falling into the hands of our loved ones, of children, of someone who might unknowingly make a mistake, and then there are tragic injuries or potentially tragic deaths that result to our loved ones from not securing our firearms properly in the home. And so all very important things that we need to think about when it comes to responsible firearm ownership. And so please work with us on that to have the greatest measured impact that we can. Again, thank you to our partners for being here. I think my time is up, but I will be here for the entire meeting, take any questions that you have, as well as our executive staff. Joan?
Our special topic presentation this evening, Harris County District Attorney's Office, and we welcome back Kim Ogg.
Thank you, John. All right, we have a PowerPoint somewhere. It's coming up. While we do that, I am Kim Ogg, your Harris County District Attorney. Good evening, neighbors and civic leaders. Good evening. I want to thank some people who are here with me and knock that out right away. Let me tell you why I want to thank them. Commissioner Tom Ramsey sits on our Commissioner's Court. He supports law and order, and he works to support the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Department in the county as a great partner with the city, and I want to thank him for that. I also want to thank members of my own team who are here. Chief Bradford, who you should know, but if you don't, he ran this department for 7 years when I was a lowly anti-gang director, a little appointee by the mayor, and we worked together to stop gang crime in Houston, and it's my absolute privilege to have him as a special prosecutor. Went to law school during that police career. I also have Anna Carpenter. Anna is somewhere in here. If you have a question for me and we run out of time, if you have a complaint, if you have a case to talk about, if you will talk to me after the event and give your information to Anna, we will track it down, look at your information, and get back with you. So thank you, team, for being here. Do I have any other team? I know I've got my security detail and several close friends here. All right, with that, let me start off so that we stay on time. I'm afraid I think it's a felony if you go overtime here, and Joan is the exclusive judge of the fate, of those of us who go over. All right, Our mission at the DA's office is simply to make our community safer through evidence-based prosecution and equal justice for all. Evidence-based means just that. We can think somebody's guilty, we can have heard they're guilty, we can believe they're a crook, but we gotta have the evidence to prove it in court. That's our part of the job. The police gather the evidence, investigate the crimes with our assistance. We write the warrants, we provide legal counsel, but we are not ourselves a police agency. We are a law enforcement agency, and I'm the top law enforcement official in the county. Equal justice for all means we apply the law to everybody. That includes everybody, regardless of status, regardless of pocketbook, regardless of position. Guaranteeing a fair process is how we obtain a just result. But it's up to you, the community, to resolve the criminal issues, the most important ones of our day. Let me tell you how that works. Every felony charge goes before a grand jury. Who sits on a grand jury? You do. I assure you, they won't let me on. I've tried. No, they won't let me on, but we'll let you on. We invite you, please answer that jury call when it comes. And if you have an opportunity to sit on the grand jury, they are now selected randomly. And so when a felony is presented to us and we're not sure if it's a crime, it goes to the grand jury. If a felony is presented to us and we know it's a crime and we direct charge, it goes to the grand jury. So ultimately, our community decides. Our job is keep the process fair. Next slide. Our system is basically like an assembly line. No, putting a case together isn't exactly like building a car, but in a sense, there's a process that's similar. It starts with you. You call the police when you see a crime. Police respond. They call us for counsel, advice. If we think that the evidence matches the law, we charge. If it's felony, within 90 days, it's going to a grand jury. Judges, they decide bail. They decide which evidence gets in, which witnesses can testify, and upon sentencing, if the defendant chooses, they sentence. Judges are elected by who? The community. So we're in charge of the process, the community's in charge of the result. Prison, probation, alternative solutions, that's what happens at the end once someone's guilt has been established. Next slide. I want to talk to you about the current state of things. Everybody's heard a lot about the backlog. Okay, why? What does it matter to you if we have a whole bunch of cases? Here's what it matters to you. Here's what matters to you. As somebody waits for trial, there's only two places they can wait: jail or at home. At home is in the neighborhood. You live in a neighborhood, they live in a neighborhood. The longer we wait for trial, the longer people charged with very serious offenses who are on bail live in the neighborhood or stay in the neighborhood, or they stay in jail. Victims also live in the neighborhood, often in the same neighborhood. Imagine how that feels. For 5 years, our average right now is almost 4 years before we get a murder case to trial. Imagine living with somebody who killed your family member who's staying up the street. The injustice of that is terrible, and people shouldn't have to live with that. So it requires management by our courts, and it requires management by us of our cases. As you can see, although we have not been given additional staff members, we are working the backlog down. So we've come from a high of about 145,000 down to 110,000. That is through working at nights, on the weekends, and because we didn't get more prosecutors, we work them overtime. They will burn out. That cannot go on. I will be asking for your support when I come to Commissioner's Court and I ask for more prosecutors. Next slide. Yes, murders are down, but I do want to contextualize it. They went to new highs in 2020 that we had not seen since 1992. So yes, we are seeing a substantial decrease thanks to the very, very hard work of our law enforcement partners who are solving more crimes faster than I've seen in my career. Why? Your cameras, your help, your testimony. But it is working. So while we see murders really high, especially our juvenile murders, we do concur that it is much better than last year, and last year is much better than the year before. But there's still too many. Ask any one of those 571 people who were killed last year. Next slide. This is how many cases are pending. This is the part of the backlog that you really care about. These are our most dangerous offenders, and we have 1,800 and change pending. We asked Senator Whitmire to carry a bill to prioritize capital murders and murders. It passed. The governor signed it. It goes into effect September 1. We are now not just asking or encouraging our judges to set our most important cases first. The law tells them now that that is what they must do. So I think that's a huge win for the victims in our community, and it helps prosecution like this. They can get the evidence, but holding it together for 4 years, witnesses who live in the same neighborhood as the gang member who murdered somebody, holding the evidence, getting the labs, making sure the same person tested is available for testimony. The longer a case goes, the more difficult it is to try. And these are your most dangerous, highest risk offenders. That's why I went to the legislature. That's why they passed it. And now we've got a new law. To match that law, I committed 18 people out of my staff, which is substantial, for a homicide division, so that our best and our most dedicated and experienced prosecutors can try our most dangerous criminals. And that has had great impact. We've seen many more of our serious cases be moved. And now with this new law, I think we're going to be able to knock that backlog down. Next slide. Fentanyl. We have joined with our federal partners and with HPD and the Sheriff's Department to investigate fentanyl deaths more like homicides. I've created a Major Narcotics Squad that has a homicide prosecutor attached to it. Why? Because people are getting fentanyl that they don't know they're taking, and it's killing them. And many of them are very, very young. And so we're taking a new look at old problems in law enforcement. For years, we blamed the user. We blamed the addict. And they share a responsibility, and many of them are paying with their lives. But who we haven't done a good job with are the people who sold them those drugs. We have not investigated their overdoses, which are not impossible to investigate, especially with phones. It's usually the last call they made. So, those who are dealing drugs laced with fentanyl, which almost everything is these days, can now face homicide charges, whether it's murder, manslaughter, or criminally negligent homicide. We're treating them like the murderers they are. Next slide. We have a great program for you, and I certainly didn't think it up, but I embraced it. Free gun lock boxes so that you can safely store your firearms. This came out of one of the management districts, and our friend Sherry Cortez, who is a police wife who works with our office at the DA's office in community engagement, the Houston Police Department, several of our city council members, and everybody pitched in to pull together a program to give away these free lock boxes. Please take one. I have one. They're great for the car. They're not meant to be a permanent storage item, but they're so useful. And if we can stop one burglar from getting your gun, that's one less gun in the hands of a criminal. If he's willing to break into your car to get the gun, it's our position that he's likely to be willing to use the gun. So we think this program has great promise. We appreciate our partnership. And speaking of partnerships, Alto is in the room. Alto is one of our sponsors for tonight. They are a group working right now with Houston Retailer, with Walgreens, to help deliver the evidence to us. With only 350 partners and fewer than 5,000 cops on the street, we need all the help we can get to deliver the evidence from the place that the crime occurred to the police, to the DA's office. And that group does that. I want to thank our partners at Alto. Next slide. Finally, keep in touch. I know you're going to have a lot of questions. I am here as long as Joan says I answer the questions, I answer the questions. When Joan says stop, your DA stops. I know where to draw the lines right there. Anyway, I appreciate your time tonight. We want you to know the state of your county DA's office is strong. Our resolve to pursue and hunt down and prosecute successfully the most violent among us is, we're committed. It's instilled in us. I have 35 years to prove that in. What I want to tell you is that I've made that a priority for every prosecutor in our office, whether they're coming out of law school, brand new, wet behind the ears. If there is anyone harmed in a case, they know that is their priority. Property damage is bad. You will be called. We will ask you about restitution. And we've collected $50 million worth of restitution in 6.5 years. Can I get a hand just for the people in my office who do that? That's $50 million that went back to crime victims from the crooks. And we use the money that we forfeit from them to sponsor a lot of programs that help young offenders in our juvenile system. Because we can keep them out by sending them to a program that will modify their behavior but not scar their record for employment purposes later, then we're doing our job smarter than we've done it in the past, and that's the goal. So we want to make you safe. We don't want to just make you feel safe, we want you to be safe. We think the best way from our role in the DA's office to make you safe is to prosecute violent criminals as a priority. Period, over and out. Robbery, rape, murder, human trafficking, kidnapping, that's where we're focused, on the crimes that hurt Houstonians. I'll open it up to questions if anybody has any right this minute. Joan, how long do we have for questions? It's 7:36? 2 or 3 minutes. 2 or 3 minutes, everybody. Joan, you pick.
I have a question.
One moment.
Is she picked? Yes, ma'am.
I was actually taken to court because I was on a public sidewalk, and your office refused to drop the charges. My lawyer said there were 13 actions that she had to address going to court and doing different things. 13 actions. This court case for me being on a public sidewalk lasted for years. It finally went to court. I was, the case was dismissed. Before that, I was dragged out of my church bathroom, and the charge was interfering with an ongoing investigation in my church bathroom, female bathroom. I was the only person in the bathroom.
If I can do this, we'll talk to you about your case, but I really am looking for questions that maybe we can get an answer that will help everybody. But I'll talk to you about your case in the back. Is there anybody with a question that applies to your neighborhood or a question about how our system works? Anything?
We have one person in the back there.
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am, I can't tell.
I have a question about the system. My question is concerning how the grand jury works. My son was killed in the Harris County Jail, and it was ruled a homicide by the Texas Rangers. So I'm trying to find out how the system feel that no grand jury should go on to find out what happened. How does a case close? I'm kind of confused with that system.
Address the case without looking at it, but I'll meet you in the back. I'll get your case number, and let me tell you how the grand jury works. You show up for jury duty, and they say, can you spend 90 days on a grand jury, 2 or 3 days a week? And hopefully you can. A lot of small business people can't, a lot of single parents can't, but maybe you can. Because we need grand jurors who will listen to a case. By the way, all in-custody deaths, even if the person never goes to the jail, they go straight to the hospital, but they were under arrest, are called in-custody deaths. And they are ruled homicides. Whether that means it was a murder or not, or a crime is up to the investigators who gather the evidence, they bring it to us, and we present it to a grand jury. That's generally how it works with deaths in custody. The Department of Public Safety, Texas Rangers, investigates the jail deaths. And when they bring us a case, it goes to the grand jury.
My question is, I have a lot of friends that have been victimized, and he called the DA's office, and it's not making sense to me that they just say you're not going to accept charges. A friend of mine, somebody stole $50,000 from him. Another friend lost $100,000. And I'm not understanding why when he called, they say, well, we'll see if we'll take it. We don't go.
Well, see, we don't take charges from individual people, ma'am. We take them from law enforcement. So what we need is a case number and a complete investigation. If you've got that, I'm happy to check. If we actually rejected a charge, we have a record of it. But if there's no record of it, it means that case was never presented to us. But we want you to report every crime to the police, and every crime the police solve, we want them to bring it. That's what they do. That's what they've done all my career.
We'll be in touch.
Any more?
One more question. In the back, gentlemen.
About a case, about the future. I'm wondering how the DA's office and the constables, all the constables, are working together for the crimes that are gonna be committed based on what's happening today. Like illegal use of all kinds of transportation devices anywhere and everywhere. Motorized bicycles, four-wheelers, things like that on the trail system, on our city streets. There are people in the neighborhood within, I don't know, 200 yards of the east side station that drive up and down on four-wheelers at certain times of the night or early morning. When these people put it together, they're gonna cause a lot more chaos, and that's gonna escalate for the future, because those are simple laws. Traffic laws are simple. They're simple to enforce because when you see them, you police them, you enforce it, you prosecute it. Because that gets the attention of everybody in the room.
Well, that is our job, to deter bad behavior by prosecuting people. Class C traffic tickets go to municipal court or justice court. Reckless driving comes to us. And you know what we do with folks who are driving recklessly and endanger others? We forfeit their car
Well, my question, you misunderstood.
while we prosecute them.
You misunderstood a little bit. Do you work actively right now on some of these things that I can see?
I do not do enforcement. We are at the courthouse trying cases, but law enforcement enforces. And I think that question might be more appropriate for them, just because our people aren't out on the street writing tickets. Our people are in court trying the cases. But I'm going after the folks on the highway. If they use their car and they wreck it, we're in a DWI that involves a death, we're trying to forfeit those cars. If they race and they hurt or kill somebody, we're forfeiting their cars. Now, we don't always win, but we always try. So I think if we can't send them to jail long enough, we can at least take their car. We're trying to send them to jail, but I will tell you that many of the people involved in this are young, and sometimes they don't receive prison sentences. Hitting them with their car, taking their car, that hurts them. And that gets their parents involved. It's usually on their note. That's what we're after. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We have a lot of ballot questions, and we will be around. Kim Ogg's staff will be around for the questions after the meeting. Thank you very much. John?
Okay, Sergeant Hicks. Auto Theft Division and the Gun Safe Distribution Program. Remember.
Let me get the video.
Oh, okay. It's okay, all right. We're going to do what they call a switch right now. How's that? Okay, this is from Harris County Commissioner Tom Ramsey, and this is Harris County Precinct 3.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, DA. let me give you a great testament that this DA does have resolve. I've seen her come to Commissioner's Court where she's really some days not given the greatest welcome, but she very clearly states the need, very clearly identifies what needs to happen. And I think my job as County Commissioner is first of all to listen. And when the experts, this is an expert, whether it's the DA, whether it's the judges, whether it's law enforcement, when they come to court, Commissioner's Court, and they provide information, we are to listen. So I am excited that y'all would all come out on a Tuesday night to consider what I think is the most important thing, safe neighborhoods.
Amen.
I talk to community groups all the time. Folks, our expectations are way too low. I mean, when we're talking about, well, the crime rate is a little better, and that's good news. We should celebrate the data. We should celebrate the statistics. But every one of us deserve a safe neighborhood. We deserve the ability, and I talked to a lady this morning, she's afraid to come out of her house when the sun goes down. That's not right. That's not how we should be living. So what do? Well, from my perspective, we have to provide funding for law enforcement. That isn't complicated. We are way underfunded in the city of Houston. We're not even close to funding properly our law enforcement. And yet we say, you know, well, at least it's a little better. And Chief Fenner is a close friend. I greatly admire what he does out there every day with limited resources. But our job is to be sure there's resources. Really, as Harris County Commissioner, that's my job. I have to listen, and I have to be sure that resources are provided. The DA that's here, I had the opportunity to spend the day with one of your young prosecutors. Folks, you talking about, my father was a minister for 60 years. These assistant DAs, that's a calling. They're prepared to deal with 100 cases any day. How do you prepare for 100 cases? Every day, but they do it. And they're there, that's important. So when the DA came and said, I need $5 million so we can hire more prosecutors, you would have thought she'd asked for $5 billion. All the caterwauling and carrying on over $5 million. Well, I'm here to provide information, but I'll tell you, Commissioners Briones, Commissioner Garcia, and myself fully supported that effort. You know, that wasn't very complicated. So we're in the middle of our budget discussions at the county. I consider law enforcement our top priority. Safe neighborhoods is our top priority. I spent my 45 years of a career doing engineering and infrastructure. I'd a lot rather be talking to you about roads today. I really would. And we got a lot of work to do on the roads. But our number one problem, our number one issue, where we need to be spending our money, we need to put our money where our mouth is, and that is in anything to do with law enforcement. So, we have a budget coming up in Harris County. And our budget is in the ballpark of $2.2 billion. I'm just anticipating that this year we're probably going to have a tax increase. I'm just guessing. So as I look at what that might be, the maximum amount it could be is $240 million. I'm sitting here promising you tonight that I'm going to be advocating for half of that to go to law enforcement. My definition of law enforcement is this: the DA, the sheriff, the constables, and the fire marshal. That's not complicated. So fully half the 110 million that we're going to get in increased revenue this year needs to go to law enforcement. That's my public commitment to you. We'll be having those discussions, but as been heard, our responsibility at Commissioner's Court is support those elements of the judicial system, whether it's the DA, whether it's the courts, whether it's the sheriff's office, whether it's the jail, any of these. And by the way, just on a side note, we've had nearly $1 billion in ARPA money. I call that a missed opportunity. We could have spent it on, I think, improving the conditions in the jail. We could have spent it on all kinds of law enforcement initiatives. We spent it on not bad things, but we clearly did not have our eye on the ball when it comes to those initiatives. So I guess my report to you tonight, particularly in the context of law enforcement, and what we need to do is we need investments. We need to get serious about this. We need to raise our expectations. You know, our expectation is every neighborhood, doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in, that we live in a safe area, and we as elected officials at least owe you that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going back to the gun safe distribution program.
Thank you. Finally, we're here, right? That's what y'all here for, the gun safes, right? I have one right here. Ta-da. I want to thank everybody. That you have no idea how long it took us to do something like this. I've been in auto theft for 17 years, and I've been doing the public outreach, public education for at least the last 8. I have been on TV countless times, all of our social media, the newspaper. I was in the front page of the New York Times talking about gun safes, talking about last year we had 4,400 guns stolen out of cars. The year before that it was 3,700. We're running 10% up. It's getting worse. And this is the most preventable crime. This number should be 0. And with all of the ads, all of the PSAs I've done posters that I've put inside gun stores, all of the social media posts I've made, writing articles for Nextdoor, and the numbers still go up. And I can only tell people so much. This right here, this is the next level. And when we kind of partnered up with, I want to give a shout out to Sherry back there hiding. Sherry came to me with this idea a couple of years ago. COVID slowed us down, and the fact that she figured out someone to start, giving us some funds to get these things, and we're looking at hopefully, possibly over 10,000 of these given out. And this is going to be awesome. This is the next level. The only thing else we could possibly do is for me to meet you at your car, lock your gun in this for you, and then walk away. But you have to use it. This is not gun storage, by the way. This is not, okay, now I can leave my gun in the car. This is for, you got to run into your kid's school. You're going to go into the church. You need to go into a government building. You're going to go have lunch at a bar/restaurant that doesn't allow guns. This is temporary storage. This is what this is for. You need to use it. We have them for you tonight. I'm going to play a little video that me and the district attorney made to kind of get this information out. Your other PIP meetings, I'll be coming around to all around the city, so if you don't get one tonight, you're going to get one then. Come to the next one. Don't grab another one. You just get one. But bring your neighbor. We want to use this as a recruiting tool. Most of you in here have been to PIP meetings before and you know what they are. Use this to recruit other family members, your other neighbors, to go and actually participate. We really want to increase the membership in the PIP, and you can learn about what's going on in your specific neighborhood and actually meet the officers that are actually taking care of those crimes in your neighborhood. All right? You want to play the video?
Hello, I'm Harris County District Attorney Kim Hall. And I'm Sergeant Tracy Hicks with the Houston Police Department's Auto Theft Crimes Task Force.
In Harris County, approximately 150 children are injured or killed by guns each year. Negligent access to firearms is often a factor in these deaths and injuries.
In 2022, we had over 4,400 firearms reported stolen from vehicles in Houston. Sometimes these guns were used to commit other, more serious crimes.
For the last 4 years, the Harris County District Attorney's Office and the Houston Police Department have made raising awareness and facilitating safe firearm storage a priority. This year, our initiative has grown as we've partnered with other agencies and organizations who are also committed to educating our communities and facilitating safe firearm storage.
Firearms must never be left unsecured. A safe like this one provides great temporary storage when you need to go to a place where firearms are not permitted, such as a school or a government building. And using these gun safes is simple. Wrap the cable around the base of your car seat, then attach and secure the cable in the safe, then lock it up and take your keys with you.
You can use this safe in your car and easily move it into your home. It's not meant for permanent storage, just a temporary solution when you can't take your firearm with you.
Remember, owning a gun is your right.
But with that right comes great responsibility. So lock up your guns responsibly, and please share this message with your friends and family.
That looked like it was professionally made. I also want to thank the actual people who are paying for this. Anyone from the management districts here? The management districts are the ones who actually we actually got the money from. So each of the management, if your management district is not involved, then you need to get on them and tell them, say, hey, get up. And they're actually buying, they're the ones actually had purchased these. And then with partnership with the DA's office is more of a coordinator, and then us, the police department, is actually handing them out at the PIP meetings. So I want to do that. So we will see you as you walk out after it's over. There's a few more people who are going to talk, and then we'll give you away.
Okay, now do not run to the next door. Slowly. On behalf of the Citywide Board, the divisional PIP officers, the entire command staff, we would like to say thank you to the PIP members here, the guests that are here, who have been involved in their neighborhoods to get this program going and working for crime prevention. Lastly, as you leave, you will get the gun safe, and that will be past the double doors over here. Now, don't run too fast, please. Also, before you leave, put your hands together. Our board members that don't stand up here are working in the kitchens to help to distribute all the food. So give them a round of applause, please. If you have the time, get involved. If you don't have the time, you better make the time. It's your neighborhood and your city. Please don't forget. And thank you all for coming here, all our guest speakers who put the program on. And you're going to be in the back, correct? Okay. So slowly, oh, yes, ma'am.
Because you missed me. I have the announce for the Community Emergency Response Team training.
What's the announcement for?
The CERT?
We did that already.
I was here and I didn't hear about it. But
No, I know. That's the program that I did.
Okay, you can make it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to talk real quickly. I'm sorry. I'm Marta Rincon, City of Houston CERT coordinator. CERT is a Community Emergency Response Team. We are a program who teach the community to prepare to disaster, anything that happens where you live. So we are here because we're going to have a special training. It's going to be with ASL interpretation. We will have all the information. If you're interested to bring the program to your community, contact me. I'm going to be around. If you wanna have the training in Spanish, we also teach in Spanish. And we will have some flyers for the ASL interpretation training. So I will be around. There is some people with me who is gonna be with the training. If you have any question, Marta Rincon, I'll be around. Thank you.
Don't say.
Lastly, I'd like to thank the men and women of the Houston Police Department. You know, we work with so many of the divisional PIP members, and I'm telling you, the men and women that are the coordinators of your division, they do a great job. So they're here and they're back, they're helping, but I want to thank you very much. And I know Chief Bradford, years ago, you were such an asset, and you're still an asset to the PIP program. But anyway, again, we want to thank you very much. And if you could go out through the door, the double doors here, start the line there and get your.
One more thing.
Okay, I'm getting tapped on the shoulder.
Ed announced that please sign.
Oh yeah, if you have not signed in yet, please sign in. And if you put your email address, please block print it, because I'll be in my office at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning trying to figure out cursive, you know, a lot of this loop-de-loop. So if you please block print it. Again, thank you very much. Sign in, get your safes. Let's all mingle and interact with each other. Thank you very much.